I thought we played very well. I think some of our best football in moments. We didn't take our chances, especially in the first half. We had some great chances, final act, final pass, one-on-one in on goal. We just need to take those chances. But, the way that we played was very, very good. So I'm happy with that. It's just, wasn't our day up top. But, those guys have been scoring goals. We've been scoring goals. So this can happen. So.
Just a word on the surprise of the league this year, the Eddies, and just what they managed to do in the very trying circumstances.
Yeah, they defend well and they make it difficult, especially in the second half. We struggled to get in behind. We struggled to bring alive combinations, to create space, to create more chances. They got very compact. They got everybody behind the ball and they made it difficult. So credit to them.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, Cleve. Over to you, Brandon. Go ahead.
Thanks, Trisha. Hey, James. I just want to ask, I know, in the history of games between these two teams, there's been some cracking games. I know there were 2 or 3 last year that were, very tight affairs. Just what you thought of, this game in the context of all the games that have happened between these two clubs in the past.
I think we played some of our best football tonight, honestly. I think we were very good in the first half, the way we started the game. Again, we created enough chances. If we take those chances, I think it looks a little bit different, but we didn't. And then, they continued to fight, they continued to defend, and they made it difficult. We couldn't find a way through, so.
And I'm just curious, we saw Abdou out there at right back, not a position that we've seen him play too often for the club. Just wondering what the thought was there.
No, Abdou's done very well, and also, Amer is here, and he was in, and TMG and Jordan Haynes. So we thought, we could free up the front 5 and have those 4 in the back, and I thought they all did very well. And I think that they had a good night. I think Abdou had a very good night. He slid into center back in the second half and did well also there. So I thought the back line was very, very solid. It was more the final act at the other end of the field.
Yeah, I think you got to be happy there with the clean sheet finally coming out of there with one. So congratulations on the clean sheet there, James, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon. Over to you, Alexander. Go ahead.
Hey, James. Hope you're doing well. Just first one for me, a bit of a new look in the attack with Cameron Habibi making his first start, giving you kind of 3 number 10s in the pitch with him, Manny, and Marco. How was that look from your perspective? Isn't that something you might see more often, especially against low blocks, to have a bit of more creativity in those 3?
Yeah, I think you saw some really nice combinations come alive and some very good movement between them in the first half and created great chances. We need to take our chances. We need to be more clinical, more ruthless in those areas. And I think the game looks different at the end, but we didn't. And I think, it was nice to have Cam back in the mix, and he does add something different. He does like to play in those half spaces and bring alive combinations, and I thought he played very, very well. It was his first start. So.
And just a follow-up for me. Obviously, you brought off TMG rather early in the second half. Was that a pre-planned substitution, or was it injury / knock related for him?
He just picked up a little knock. So Abdou was great. George is ready to play as well. So we just made the change at halftime, and I thought Abdou slid into the middle and did very well with Amer, and then George came in and had a very good second half also for us. So I was happy with how George stepped in.
Yeah, it's always it's home, right? Edmonton's our home. It always will be home. But luckily, I was able to play here for 3 years and enjoyed playing here, and made the transition over to the Pacific. And yeah, I mean, it's friends, family, girlfriend all here, so it was nice in that retrospect. So yeah.
Nerves at all coming back home? Like, what's it feel like coming back?
Good nerves, yeah. Good nerves. It's just knowing your family's there. You play here for 3 years. You train here every day, and so yeah, good nerves. I'd say nothing too crazy.
And just a quick thought on the contest there. Obviously, they're a team, they're a young team, tough to break down and make it kind of go through it.
Yeah, for sure. I've been a part of the program, past 3 years. I've been a part of that DNA of Eddie's where it's tough to break down, and especially here at Clark, they make that defensive style of play really well and do well in that term. So yeah, it was a game where tough to break them down. They did well defensively. So credit to them for that.
Thank you. If that's all from the room, we'll go to online. Hi, Amer. First question for you is from Cleve from the Times Colonist. Go ahead, Cleve.
Hey, Amer. Yes, somebody in the room just asked my question about the homecoming. But just your thoughts on, your hometown franchise, and obviously finds itself in pretty tough straits financially but surviving. Obviously, you're happy to see the franchise doing surprisingly well.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming from Edmonton, growing up in Edmonton, and being a part of the club in the academy days, and also in the first team level, CPL. It's tough to see, all these things happening with the club, and the changes to ownership, and all the negative things that have occurred recently with the club. But for me personally, I'm happy it's still going, it's still alive in the league. League has done its best to keep the club afloat. Sorry. And for me, I just want to see my hometown team succeed and build. And what they're doing now with the squad and the new players and the transitioning into this new era for FC Edmonton. It's a tough place to play here at Clark with those guys, and full credit to them. It was tough to break them down tonight.
And just one, if I could, the coach mentioned lack of finishing. I know it's an offensive question to ask if you have a defensive player, but just the last touch wasn't there tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's coming off of 3 games at home where it feels like everything we were putting on net was going in the net or was creating a good chance, and today it just didn't happen for us there. And we know that as a team, and we know that we have the quality up top with every player coming off the bench, guys starting, we have the quality to score goals, and today just the final touch, like you said, just wasn't there. But that's definitely something that I feel is a one-off for us, because we have so much quality there.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cleve. Next question for you, Amer, comes from Brandon from Canucks Abroad. Go ahead, Brandon.
Thanks, Trisha. Hey, Amer, just a question on the clean sheet tonight. I know that you guys are hunting for that one for the last 2 or 3 games, and you finally got it here tonight. Just especially on the road, what does it mean to you and the whole defensive unit? Yeah,
we were like I said, 3 games at home, 3 wins, but no clean sheets. And the back line and the defenders were obviously frustrated about that. Obviously the number 1 goal is to get a clean sheet, and obviously now coming on the road, it's a different story. You're not at home, you don't have your fans, and a clean sheet is a priority. It gives us the best chance for our team to go out and try to score some goals. So yeah, good clean sheet, first one there. Credit to the whole guys in the back. Good display of our defensive quality, and for us the goal is to keep going like that every single game. So when we get those chances to score, and maybe it's a little bit easier for the whole squad.
We just went toe to toe with the champions, who are undefeated, and could have won the game. I think for who we are and where we've come from, that's a massive achievement. We're not going to go out and go crazy and celebrate tonight, but for who we are and where we've come from, that is a little bit of a moral victory for us tonight to put in a performance like that and get a clean sheet against a good team, but also do a better job tonight of keeping the ball a little bit, possessing and trying to create opportunities. And that was something we spoke to the guys about after the game on Saturday at Forge. We didn't think we did a good job of managing the game and taking care of the ball. And I think the guys responded in a very, very positive way. I thought we did not a perfect job, but a much better job today of managing the ball and trying to break them down at times too.
Is that a bit of a byproduct of the guys that starting to get more familiar with each other and starting to know the strengths and weaknesses of each other?
It's going to take time. I think we've said that since the beginning. Like, this is our 4th game against a professional team. So I'm pretty certain Pacific and other teams in this league played against more professional teams than we played so far on our league schedule. So we'll take a lot of positive out of this tonight. We're going to grow. We're going to keep getting better. I hope we don't have too many games like we had at Forge, but probably are going to have games like that. We're young. That's part of our process as we go through it. But the guys feel pretty good. They got a clean sheet, which is a positive. They created chances, and we could have won the game. So there's a positive vibe amongst the players. I think equally important, you can feel there's a positive vibe amongst the supporters. When we went around, people are saying, thank you, good job. And we're saying the exact same thing back to them. It's thank you and good job to the supporters, because we're all in this together. It's been tough, continues to be tough, but we'll make the most of opportunities that we get.
You're playing in the finals back-to-back from last year. Losing for you. How far will it have that back and play well after?
Gives you a little bit of a sense of belief, and you can feed off that. You can feel the positive energy amongst the group. So it's a big positive. I think if we'd slipped and we'd allowed them a chance to capitalize in the game tonight, we have lost, I think the guys would be very deflated and devastated. So I'm glad to see they got a little bit of a reward for their efforts tonight. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And online here, we'll go to you, Alexander Gagne, for first question for Alan. Go ahead.
Hey, Alan, I hope you're doing well. Just first one for me, in terms of, obviously today Pacific held a lot of the ball, yet your team held strong, especially defensively. How important, is in these sorts of games where you're not holding a lot onto the ball? What was your message, to your team in terms of staying focused and making sure you didn't have any defensive lapses?
The goal was to get a clean sheet, and we achieved that against a team that's well-oiled. They know how to play together. They got some of the best and highest paid players in the league on their team. So we're not exactly competing on a level field. So for us to come in and weather that storm, for Andreas and the back line and the collectors to get our first clean sheet, I think that's a big, big positive for us. Our group is new. I haven't spoken to the team yet, but what I'm going to tell them is we're hopefully going to get better and better as the season goes along. The teams that we're playing against, look at Pacific, they know how to play together. Look at Forge, they know how to play together. We don't. We're still trying to figure out exactly how we come together and what we can do. And the guys are buying into it. And we're going to continue to push them. And I've said this a few times, every single player in our team will be better at the end of the year because every single player in our team has upside and they're willing to grow. And you can see it tonight. The players will take a lot out of that. But we're going to keep pushing them to get better and better every single day.
And just to follow up for me, I just wanted to ask about a player you're well familiar with, made his debut today, Mamadi Camara. Thought he brought a good impact on both sides of the ball. What were your impressions of his game today, and what's it been like working with him? Obviously, you worked with him back in Colorado. I think your times at SFU just underlapped a tiny bit. So what's it been like working with him?
It's been a pleasure. I think one of the greatest joys in this business is when you get to work with different people, players, staff, management, support staff in different places. That's an absolute joy because you have experiences together. You have an emotional attachment. I obviously recruited Mamadi, and then I left SFU before he got there. So I've known him since he was a young kid, and he's. I call Andreas the granddad of our team, but Mamadi is even older than Andreas, so he truly is the granddad of our group. But it's great to see him progress. He's progressed and grown so much as a man. He's an amazing guy, but he continues to grow as a player. And we asked him and challenged him to do a job for us today, and I thought he was very, very good. So hopefully he'll continue to get better along this journey.
Awesome. Thanks, Alan.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex. Next question to you, Brandon, Canucks Abroad. Go ahead.
Thanks, Trisha. Hey, Alan. Congrats on the clean sheet tonight. I just looking back at the history of games between these two clubs, and I know the club this year is a very different story even to the club from last year. But just how does this game shape for you? Going back to some of the games that we had last season between these two clubs.
I think every game between Pacific and Edmonton is going to be an absolute battle. I think we've shown that. There's a lot of relationships across the board. James Merriman used to be my assistant coach, so that's a personal relationship, obviously, between the two of us. Amer Đidić used to be my assistant coach. Rob Friend, their owner, I used to play with him 20-something years ago. So there's a lot of relationships between coaches and owners, and obviously a lot of the players know each other. We're in Alberta and they're in BC. We're literally neighbors, obviously. So every game we play, home and away, is always going to be an absolute battle. They're significantly ahead of us. Obviously, they're far more established. I think we all know the challenges that we've gone through. I thought we built something last year in terms of how we played against them. Here we are again, having to do it all over again. We're still trying to create a new identity. But I was very impressed with how the guys embraced that tonight. And it meant something to them. Every game you step onto has to mean something to you. And you could see tonight was a personal game for all the players.
I know you just touched on that building the club again aspect of it, but I'm just curious, does the experience that you went through last season help you or hinder you, I guess, in any way coming into the season?
It hinders us significantly because I'm hugging Amer Đidić after the game today, and Amer wanted to stay here and he wanted to play here, and we weren't allowed to keep him. So Amer will be the first to say he wanted to stay and wanted to play for Edmonton. And obviously we wish him good luck at Pacific, but that's just the harsh reality that we're going through right now. So yeah, last year was last year. We built something. We got the club a lot closer to the playoffs than they were the year before. Here we are, we start all over again. I've said this is selfless work. It's incredibly selfless work, not just on my behalf, but on our presidents, our management, everybody that works at this club. We're all working incredibly hard to help this club progress. And for the ones of us that did it last year, that's done. We have to move on. We have to have goldfish-like memories, and we start all over again. And we're going to continue to fight and push this club as much as we can.
If I can just sneak in a very quick follow-up here. Azriel came off, looked like he was cramping up a little bit there. Was that just a precautionary change?
We have about 5 or 6 guys in the physio right now, so they're all getting assessed. Not quite sure. We have to make a very quick decision tonight because we fly tomorrow morning. I've said it a couple of times, the schedule's not exactly kind this week, but it is what it is. So we'll get a medical assessment tonight. We'll decide tonight exactly who's going to travel, and then we'll figure it out. And we'll go out and fight for the Eddies again on Saturday.
Appreciate it, Alan, and good luck next week.
Thank you, Brendan.
Thanks, Brandon. Next question to you, Matthias.
Thank you, Trish. Hi, Coach. Well, congrats on the point today. I want to ask you about the match itself, because James Merriman said that their best football was in the first half, but I saw a different thing, and I want to know if you agree with me, because Edmonton was the better team in the first half. What do you think about it?
Well, that's the beauty of the subjective part of this game. James will have his thoughts, and I'll have my thoughts too. Probably won't comment on his team. I'll comment on my team. I thought we played well tonight. I think we got a little bit tired as the game went along, but that's part of us catching up. We haven't had the same preparation that any other team has had. So I think you could see at the end, last 5-10 minutes, we were, let's say, hanging on, but we're trying to push the guys to get them over the line. So I was part of my group tonight. The guys worked incredibly hard. We created chances. I feel like we progressed in terms of what we're asking them to do. There was a positive reaction to the disappointment on Saturday, and then there was significant progression in terms of how we want to play tonight. So we'll take that as a positive, and then we'll just keep on going.
I ask you because I think the match was something that you planned, right? Because you put the hard step in the midfield. It was like you are playing the match that you planned, right?
Today the plan worked. We're a moment away from getting 3 points. So our staff and our players put a lot of work into this game. It worked today, but we went to Forge the other day and it didn't work. So we live and die by our decisions. And today obviously was a positive. The other day wasn't. So we put good and bad memories behind us as quickly as possible and get ready for the next game. But the job that we asked the players to do today, they did the job. So I'm very, very proud of them.
We came in with a game plan and we executed. First half was a little bit difficult. They had a lot of possession and they were threatening us, being dangerous. But I feel like the second half was a little bit more 50-50 and it could have gone either way. But we'll take the point for today, but obviously we're still fighting and trying to get that first win.
How much more comfortable getting with the team? It was tough because you didn't know all the guys coming here. And we're a little bit behind them.
Yeah.
Sense that there's really strong.
For sure, yeah. These things are going to take time. It takes time to build chemistry and to kind of know what people like on the field. But every game that we play, it's just gonna. I feel like it's gonna look better and better.
And just the last one for me, just how important was it after the game, the last game to come back and have a really solid performance in the game, defending the champions?
For sure, it's important to turn things around. I think we went Saturday and it was a big lesson, a learning moment for us, and to come back here today and
get a point against the defending champions. So it's a good thing for us. It's positive for sure.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Hi, Mamadi. Questions now from online. First question for you comes from Alexander Gagne. Go ahead, Alex.
Hey, Mohamed, hope you're doing well. Just first one for me, obviously first start of the year for you. Thought you put in a great performance, covered a lot of ground on both sides of the ball. How did you view your performance, and how important is that aspect of bringing both sides of the ball is for your game and for your team?
Yeah, thanks. I feel like I did my job today. I did what I had to do. Obviously, it was my first 90 minutes, so I still feel like I'm not game fit just yet. And I feel like once I get game fit, I'll be able to provide a lot more to my team on both sides. And yeah, that's my role this year, to sort of be that guy that'll be going back and forth, box to box, and be a presence in the midfield.
It's kind of a follow-up. Obviously, you and Alan go way back. Like you mentioned earlier, he recruited you to SFU, worked with him in Colorado. How's your relationship been like with him, and how's it been like to work with him at this FC Edmonton project?
Yeah, indeed, we do go way back. And every time a coach signs you twice, gives you a professional contract twice, you got to be grateful for that. So he certainly sees something in you, and he's helped me a lot, grow and as a person and as a player. And this year I have more of a leadership role in this team, and I'm embracing it, and I'm enjoying working with him and with the team.
Awesome. Thanks, Mamadi.
Next question for you, Mamadi, comes from Brandon at Connects Abroad. Go ahead, Brandon.
Thanks, Trisha. Hey, Mamadi, just congratulations on the clean sheet and the performance tonight. Just want to ask, I know that, coming to this club, it's obviously, I think everyone knows the situation that the club is in, and the kind of players that you guys have at the club. But a guy like Gabby Bitar next to you, huge prospect coming out of college and all that. I'm just curious, in that role that you mentioned earlier about playing box to box and being that shotler role. It looked like you two were very active in the press tonight, and especially adding in Wesley and Azriel on the wings there. Really shut down a lot of the Pacific offense. Just very curious about your comments about that.
Yeah, I mean, Gabby's a class player, and I like playing with him. And I think anyone that we put in the midfield, we have a good team. I know the circumstances, but I feel like the coaching staff has done a good job at recruiting guys that are going to fit the style of play that we want to have. And right now, today was me and Gabby, and I think we did a good job. We did our job for sure. And Saturday it might be someone else, but we're hoping that the level will stay consistent, and we're looking to get a win perhaps on Saturday.